والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي، صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة، يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بأبي عبد الله الحسين، وجعلنا الله وإياكم من الطالبين بثأره مع وليه الإمام المنصور المؤيد المهدي من آل محمد. قال تعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: وإن جنحوا للسلم فاجنح لها وتوكل على الله إنه هو السميع العليم. وإن يريدوا أن يخدعوك فإن حسبك الله هو الذي أيدك بنصره وبالمؤمنين. Illuminate your hearts and your minds with the remembrance of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. A second louder one for the love of Maulana wa Sayyidina al-Hassan al-Zaki al-Mujtaba alayhi salam. A third loudest one for the love of Sayyidina wa Maulana Amir al-Mu'mineen wa Qa'id al-Ghurr al-Muhajjalin wa Mawla al-Muwahhidin Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. Saudi Arabia invested over $100 million in a television series this past Ramadan. Supposedly, this television series, the purpose behind it was supposedly for a good cause, to honor the legacy of Khatam al-Anbiya and to honor Islam and the personalities in the early days of Islam, the legacy of those companions of the Holy Prophet. Centered figure in this television series was a controversial individual. Some people hate this person, some people love this person, and some people deeply oppose this person's actions, his attitude, his behavior towards the Holy Prophet and towards the companions of the Holy Prophet. This person that was the center of the television series that Saudi Arabia spent over $100 million on was none other than Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Upon watching the series, you discover only one thing and one thing only, that the director did a great job. The director of this show did a great job in making a villain look like an apostle, making a bad guy look like a great, amazing personality. In fact, Muawiyah was respected in this series more than the Prophet himself. The father of Muawiyah was respected more than anyone in this series. My dear brothers and sisters, to understand Muawiyah, we must go beyond screens. Don't just watch the show. You watch the show, Muawiyah will look like a prophet to you, like an imam to you, like an apostle to you. Great guy, great individual, great personality. To understand the personality of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, you must go to the pages that were written in history. The black history that was written. Who is Muawiyah? What is the reality of Muawiyah? You understand that he was the son of Sakhr ibn Harb, Abu Sufyan, the fiercest enemy of the Holy Prophet. He was the one that caused all of the problems in the early days of Islam. He was the one that resulted in the migration of the Prophet from his hometown Mecca all the way to Yathrib. Resulted in the battle of Badr. Resulted in the battle of Uhud. And others. If you look at his family tree, mashallah, what a family tree. His father's Abu Sufyan. Talk about his mom. Who's the mother of Muawiyah? Hind bint Utbah. Hind, the daughter of Utbah. What was Hind known for? We take our parents as role models, right? My father, he's my role model. My mom, she is my role model. That's how it should be. What kind of role model or role models did Muawiyah have? Hind, the one that eats the hearts and the livers. That's what history says. In the movie, it's not there. In reality, they don't tell you that. But it's written in the books of history. Which lady ate the liver of Hamza, Sayyid al-Shuhada, uncle of Rasulullah? It was Hind, Akilat al-Akbad. She's the mother of Muawiyah. That's his family tree. All of his family were staunch enemies of Rasulullah, the Quran and Islam and the message of the Holy Quran. All of them. His uncles, his father, his mother. Look at his progeny, his son. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, Sibtu Rasulullah, was murdered by the sword of Yazid, the son of Muawiyah. Yazid, the son of Muawiyah. My dear brothers and sisters, we have to understand the reality of this family tree. What kind of family tree? الشجرة اللعينة, الشجرة الملعونة. This wicked family. His reality, my dear brothers and sisters, when we come to the early days of Muawiyah, freed on the day of the conquest of Mecca. Rasulullah comes to Fath Mecca. All of those individuals in Mecca, the pagans, the staunch enemies of Rasulullah, they submit to the Prophet and they tell him, we surrender. He tells them, اذهبوا فأنتم الطلقاء. I have freed you. Go. I'm not going to harm anyone. Some people, they tell him, Ya Rasulullah, let us treat them the same way they treated us. Let us attack and kill. Al-yawm yawm al-malhama. Let us cause a bloodshed in Mecca. He says, no. Al-yawm yawm al-marhama. Today is the day of blessings, not bloodshed. So he releases all of those individuals, including Abu Sufyan, Muawiyah, his son, and other pagans in Mecca. They are released. Later on, the same individual, Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan, becomes the wali over the government of Sham during the time of Khalifa number 2, Umar ibn al-Khattab. He was the wali. He was the governor chosen by Umar. And after that, during the time of the third Khalifa, Uthman ibn Affan, Muawiyah was given everything. Whatever you want, blank check. You know what open check means? You get to do whatever you like. Uthman gave to Muawiyah. Kill, raid, allow your soldiers to kill and attack, steal, whatever you like to do. Build a palace worth millions and millions. Do whatever you like. And my dear brothers and sisters, he was given so many privileges during the time of Uthman. And as we all know, year 35 after Hijrah, 25 years after the death of Khatam al-Anbiya, Muhammad sallu alayhi bi'a'la aswatikum. Uthman was murdered. Uthman didn't die natural death. Uthman was killed. You ask history, who killed Uthman? They tell you a bunch of rebels, Khawarij, from I don't know where, Egypt, somewhere. They end up in Medina, they kill Uthman. No. It was some companions, if not some, definitely, if not most companions, definitely some companions were involved in murdering Uthman. Due to his corruption, they were not comfortable with Uthman being Khalifa, spending money not on Muslims, but on his family. The first two, they were corrupt, but not like that. Corruption not to that level. They were not happy with him. So Uthman is killed in his home. And by the way, the other day we were talking about Hadith al-Ashara al-Mubashara, the hadith of the 10 promised in heaven. Uthman was killed by some companions in his home in Medina. If he was given and guaranteed paradise, promised paradise by Rasulullah, he could have told the people, I'm promised paradise by Rasulullah. So they killed Uthman. Muawiyah's relatives with Uthman, they both belong to the tribe of Bani Umayyah. And Muawiyah now hears that Khilafah is given to Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. So he takes the advantage to weaponize his army of 130,000 or 135,000 soldiers against the Muslims of Medina, and to kill two birds with one stone. I get rid of the people that actually killed Uthman and get rid of Ali ibn Abi Talib. I take Khilafah, hijack it. So it leads to a army, it leads to a battle. The casualties of this battle were 25 soldiers from the side of Ali ibn Abi Talib were killed, and 45 soldiers from the side of Muawiyah were killed. 70,000 fatalities, human fatalities. 70,000 people were killed in the battle of Siffin. He wages this war. And the animosity that he had towards Ali ibn Abi Talib was unparalleled. Unparalleled. To a level where he used to use tactics to bribe the companions of Ali ibn Abi Talib. The other day we were talking about a man by the name of Ubaidullah ibn al-Hurr al-Ju'fi. He's on the side of Ali ibn Abi Talib in the battle of Siffin. A messenger comes to him at night in the tent, in the battle. He tells him, this money from Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Leave Ali ibn Abi Talib. And he leaves. So he used tactics, disgusting tactics, to eliminate the companions of Ali ibn Abi Talib. In the battle of Siffin alone, he kills thousands and thousands. Some of them were companions of Rasulullah. In a narration, 25 Badris were killed on that day. What does it mean, Badri? Badri means a companion of Rasulullah. From the 313 special Muslims were killed in the battle of Siffin. 25 of them. Ammar bin Yasir, Hijr ibn Adi al-Kindi was killed later on. Malik al-Ashtar was killed later on. Muhammad bin Abi Bakr was killed later on. Thabit bin Ubaid al-Ansari was killed in the battle of Siffin. Khuzayma bin Thabit, the Shahadatain, was killed in the battle of Siffin. Abu al-Haytham Malik bin al-Tayyihan, Ibn al-Tayyihan, known in the words of Ali ibn Abi Talib, he was killed in the battle of Siffin. Sa'd ibn al-Harith, killed in the battle of Siffin. 25 great souls, companions of Rasulullah, Badris, who fought in the battle of Badr. They were believers from the day of Badr, killed by the sword of the son of Abu Sufyan. They call him Khal al-Mu'mineen. More of a Qatil al-Mu'mineen, not Khal al-Mu'mineen. More of an enemy to the believers, not uncle of the believers. Just because his sister is married to Rasulullah, they call him Khal al-Mu'mineen. Okay, what about Muhammad bin Abi Bakr? He's not Khal al-Mu'mineen? But there is bias, because Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr chose to stand with Haqq, where Haqq was with the man that Haqq was always with him, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. My dear brothers and sisters, this is the reality of Muawiyah in the time of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And when it came to the time of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, upon the martyrdom of Amir al-Mu'mineen, he starts his new tactics against Sibt Rasulullah al-Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam. He starts his new tactic against the grandson of the Holy Prophet. Imam al-Hassan receives Khilafah. Muawiyah prepares his army to get into a battle with the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib, the grandson of Rasulullah. He rejects Imam al-Hassan. Khilafah does not go to him, has to come to me. And Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam is put in a difficult situation. You know, Imam al-Hassan had a cousin by the name of Ubaidullah ibn al-Abbas. We usually talk about Abdullah ibn al-Abbas, Hibr al-Ummah, the famous writer and historian, the son of Abbas, cousin of Rasulullah, cousin of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He had a brother by the name of Ubaidullah ibn al-Abbas. You know what Ubaidullah did? One day he's sitting in his home and he receives 100,000 dirhams from Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Leave Al-Hassan ibn Ali and come join Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. His cousin. This is your cousin. This is haqq. This is your Imam. You leave him and you go on Muawiyah's side. And many other companions that were either killed or taken through bribery by Muawiyah. Companions of Imam al-Hassan. So he's put in a difficult situation. He either considers war with Muawiyah and proves himself as Khalifa, apparent Khalifa, but that will result in the killing of the greatest of Muslims, the Shia of Ahl al-Bayt in Kufa and in Medina. Islam technically will be wiped out. So he had to use another form. He had to face Muawiyah with another technique. So he initiates a ceasefire, or as we call sulh, truce, with Muawiyah. I would like to call it ceasefire, not a sulh. There will never ever be a sulh with Muawiyah. Just like the Muawiyah of our time. They say ceasefire, but it's never going to be a ceasefire. They always come and attack. Ceasefire one side. Their side, there is no ceasefire. They force you to accept ceasefire, but they keep on killing and bombing. Same thing with Muawiyah. Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam initiates a ceasefire, agrees to a ceasefire under certain conditions. Number one, yes, he gives the Khilafah, the apparent Khilafah, to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Yes. However, Muawiyah must work bi kitabillah, use God's book, and the seerah of Rasulullah, and the seerah of Ali ibn Abi Talib. You abide by this, I will give you Khilafah. Second, after Muawiyah is gone, ila al-Jahim, you submit Khilafah back to Al-Hassan ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib. If Al-Hassan is not there, he is killed or dead, you submit it to Al-Hussein ibn Ali. Yet Muawiyah has no right to appoint a successor. So it's a temporary Khilafah. Third condition, and the most important condition, is to leave and refrain from cursing Ali ibn Abi Talib on the pulpits of Rasulullah. You know, Ali ibn Abi Talib was being cursed 80 years on the Manabir in Damascus. No wonder I see how many hateful people against Ahl al-Bayt and Ali ibn Abi Talib in that area. Because they were taught by their father and their teacher and their mentor Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Did Muawiyah agree to this truce? To this ceasefire? Yes. Ask history, yes, he did agree. But did Muawiyah fulfill the promise? Did Muawiyah fulfill? Never. My dear brothers and sisters, here is where I would like to shed light. There's a lot of misunderstanding, misinformation about our second Imam within our time. So many Muslims and so many Shia misunderstand Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. They don't know the reality behind the truce or the ceasefire with Muawiyah. And by the way, to be unappreciated, underestimated by your enemies, that's fine. It's okay. No problem. But to be unappreciated and underestimated by your own people, that pains the heart. And today, insha'Allah, we will try to examine this legacy that was left to us by Al-Imam Al-Hassan ibn Ali, Sibt Rasulullah, Kareem Ahl Al-Bayt, Al-Imam Al-Hassan Al-Mujtaba alayhi salam. So many people say, why didn't he rise like his brother on the 10th of Muharram? Let us examine tonight's lecture in the following sequence. Why did Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam agree to a truce with Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan? 2. Imam al-Hassan's foresight, preparing the ground for Karbala. 3rd, Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam's presence on the land of Karbala on the 10th of Muharram, year 61 after Hijrah. I request everyone pays attention. Please, let us honor the legacy of Sibt Rasulullah. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Number 1, why did Imam al-Hassan initiate a ceasefire with Muawiyah? The first answer I will ever provide is Allah knows. That's the default. The default is Allah knows. We don't know. We don't know. We don't have to know everything. But the details that we are given, you'll hear so many answers. Imam al-Hassan was afraid. Imam al-Hassan was called Mudhillul Mu'mineen. This, that, from all sides of Muslims, all parties. But this answer that I will provide is a historical analysis. Let us read history and let us read what Imam al-Hassan did. A historical analysis on the truce. A new approach to the truce and the ceasefire. Throughout the 35 years after Hijrah, 35 years after Hijrah, from the time of Rasulullah till the time of the death of Uthman, 35 years. 10 years with Rasulullah, 2 years Abu Bakr, 10 years Umar, 12 years Uthman, 35 years. From year 1 after Hijrah to year 35 after Hijrah, until Imam Ali alayhi salam received Khilafah. There were lots of animosity between the Muslim government and which government? The Roman Empire, the Byzantines, those that were in Constantinople and in Istanbul today. There was a lot of drama between them, lots of problems. From the time of Rasulullah to the time of Uthman, battles, wars, and lots of other tactics that were used by the Byzantines to eliminate Islam and the message of Khatam al-Anbiya and to kill the Holy Prophet. Number 1, there were several incidents that took place, resulted in wars with the Byzantines. The story of Masjid Dhirar. Masjid Dhirar, there is a group of munafiqeen in Medina that work for the Byzantines in Constantinople, in the Roman palace. And they would like to wage a new tactic of wars upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, against Rasulullah and Islam. Not wars face to face, no. A inside war, intellectual war. War that has two faces. Through establishing a network within the Muslims. There were hypocrites. Why does Allah reveal a chapter called Surah Al-Munafiqeen? To identify those individuals. Hypocrites working for the Byzantines against Islam. Masjid Dhirar. They plan to build Masjid Dhirar. Allah mentions it in the Quran. وَالَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا مَسْجِدًا ضِرَارًا وَكُفْرًا وَتَفْرِيقًا بَيْنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. They want to build a masjid, but to ruin the relationships of the mu'mineen. To make sure Muslims are not on one side, one page. No, two sides. تفريق بين المؤمنين, to cause problems and drama. And they were identified. They wanted to build this masjid, but of course through miracle, Jibreel comes to Rasulullah, and this masjid was not able to be built, and they build parts of it and he destroys it. Yes, he destroys the masjid because the purpose of the masjid was to ruin Islam, not to honor the legacy of the Prophet. That's one event that took place, Masjid Dhirar. The second, Ma'rakat Mu'tah. Who was killed in the battle of Mu'tah? Ja'far al-Tayyar. Ja'far bin Abi Talib, the brother of our Mawla, the cousin of Rasulullah, was killed by the Romans, by the Byzantines. This is fueling the animosity of the Muslims against the Byzantines. That's another one. Another incident that took place was, which is known in history, Qadiyat al-Ghasasina. The Ghasasina, they were a tribe in northwest of Saudi Arabia today, northwest of the Arabian Peninsula. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, he sends a messenger to the Roman Empire. Basically, this is something that I've mentioned before. He sent messengers to Kisra Malik al-Furs, the Persian Empire. He sends messengers to Alexandria in Egypt. He sends messengers all over. Among them was Hirqal. When he sent a message with a messenger to the Byzantine Empire, the Byzantine emperor, inviting him to accept Islam. Before the messenger reached the Byzantine Empire and the Byzantine territory and the Roman territory, Roman land, he passes by this tribe, Al-Ghasasina. This tribe, they were Christians, and their loyalty was not to anyone but to the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire. So they hold this messenger and they punish him, they torture him, and they kill him. What does the Prophet do? He sends a group of soldiers to take down that tribe. Another incident that took place was Sariyat Tay. In Arabia, northeast, there is an area called Ha'il. Close to it, there is an area called Tay. Tay was the tribe of Hatim al-Ta'i, the most generous man of his time. Hatim al-Ta'i. Hatim al-Ta'i had a son by the name of Uday. Uday bin Hatim al-Ta'i, or Adi bin Hatim al-Ta'i. They belonged to that tribe. They were first mushrikeen, but suddenly they had became Nasara. They became Christians through the infiltration that the Byzantines had in their land, in their territories. And they had taken Uday to Byzantine, to the Roman land, and they made him as if he's an agent, a spy for them in Arabia. So the Byzantines, they had foresight. They're smart. They're planning to have a base in Arabia, in the tribe of Tay, in the land of Tay, close to the Muslims. So if we were ever to need backup, we have the tribe of Tay. Rasulullah hears about that. Who does he send? The man that he sends for every mission. He sends Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, along with a group. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. He sends him with a group of soldiers to the tribe of Tay. He takes down that tribe and he chases Uday bin Hatim al-Ta'i, who flees. He goes away and he survives. That's another incident that is resulting in the problems between the Muslims and the Byzantines. Another issue that took place was Ghazwat Tabuk. You know, Ghazwat Tabuk, you hear the name so much, it never took place. Ghazwat Tabuk, the Battle of Tabuk, never took place. What do I mean? Really? Yes, it never took place. There are munafiqeen in Medina, hypocrites that work for the Byzantines. They keep on saying the Byzantines want to come and kill Muslims and eliminate Muslims. They keep on filling the minds of Muslims that the Byzantines, they want to come and kill you. So surrender to them or go and prepare to battle with them, fight with them, encounter with them. So Rasulullah prepares a group of army, and that was the only army that Imam Ali alayhi salam was not in it. I'll tell you why. He prepares the army, taking them to Tabuk. And he keeps on telling those hypocrites, come, let's join the battle. They say, no, Ya Rasulullah, we would like to stay in Medina. What does it seem like? Seems like they are planning to do something. Rasulullah leaves Medina. The soldiers, they leave Medina. Ali leaves Medina. They leave Medina to face and encounter the Byzantine army, the Roman army. No one's going to be in Medina anymore. So what do? They're going to go. They're not going to see an army that they are facing. The Byzantines are not there. It's all a lie. Byzantines never came out. The Muslims, they would go. They see no one's there that they should fight. They're going to come back. They're going to be tired. They arrive to Medina. They see Medina in the hands of the hypocrites. And then the Byzantines will come and we can sandwich attack the Muslims. Hypocrites from one side, Byzantines from one side. Jibreel comes to Rasulullah and he tells him that whole plot. What does Rasulullah do? As he is embarking his journey to Tabuk, he tells Ali ibn Abi Talib, go back and stay in Medina. Some of the companions, they started saying, Ali, he's leaving you to protect the women, as a guard for the women. Rasulullah tells him, no. Ya Ali, and this is narrated in all books of history in Islam. Ya Ali, anta bimanzilati, you are to me what Harun was to Musa. إلا أنه لا نبي بعدي. أنت مني بمنزلة هارون من موسى إلا أنه لا نبي بعدي. There is no prophet after me. So go and be the guardian of the city. Ali comes back to Medina. All of the plots were what? In vain. The hypocrites, they can't work when Ali is there. He's Rasulullah's eyes and ears in Medina. They can't do anything. And then eventually Rasulullah understands that plot. It was all fake. Therefore he stays in Medina. So no ghazwa took place in Tabuk. He stays. So all of that is taking place. Lots of animosity between the Byzantines and the Muslims. They keep on trying to infiltrate the Muslim government during the time of Rasulullah, then the time of Abu Bakr, then the time of Umar, then the time of Uthman. Uthman dies. Muawiyah is now trying to wage war against who in the Battle of Siffin? Against Ali ibn Abi Talib and the Muslims of Medina and Kufa. The battle, the army of Sham against the army of Kufa and Medina. Therefore, Muawiyah has no way he can handle the Byzantines at the same time that he is handling Ali ibn Abi Talib. So he has to shut down one battle and prepare for the battle against Ali ibn Abi Talib. So he sends a letter to the emperor of the Byzantine Empire. And he tells him, O emperor, let me finish my job with Ali and then I will come to you. Shockingly, surprisingly, the Byzantines, they accept. They accept the truce. They accept sulh with Muawiyah. Why? They have foresight. They're smart. Let the Muslims kill each other. Why would we get involved? Let them kill each other. Let Ali and Muawiyah get in a battle. Why would we waste our blood and energy and soldiers? Let them finish themselves together. So the battle starts after year 35 in Siffin, and the infiltration of the Byzantines started. Their tactic of war against Islam changed. We're not going to face them with swords now. We're going to send spies. We're going to infiltrate the Muslim government in Damascus with all of our resources. We're going to send people to live there. We're going to raid their palaces with our books. We're going to raid their schools with our books, raid their cities with our people, and slowly, slowly take on their government, infiltrate the government, intervene in their government. And that is what we saw. That is what history says. If you look at the government of Muawiyah, government of Banu Umayyah, and his sons, and after that until Abdul Malik ibn Marwan, what was the Muslim government of Banu Umayyah? What was it like? It was a government that was infiltrated by the Byzantines. This is not what I say, this is what history says. Look at the administration of Muawiyah. Look at the cabinet of the Khalifa. Khalifa's cabinet. Do you know how it looks like? Who's the minister of his government? Sir John. Sir John was a Christian that worked for the Byzantines. His son is known as John of Damascus. And until today in the Vatican, John of Damascus is highly regarded. Sir John is his father. Sir John was the minister of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. If you can close the door. Please everyone move forward. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Sir John, the father of John of Damascus, what kind of person was he? What kind of person was he? He was a person that organized the worst type of tragedy that took place on earth. The killing of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Yes, he was alive till the time of Yazid, and he tells Yazid, appoint Wali of Kufa who? Ibn Ziyad. We need to make sure Ibn Ziyad goes there. He was the architect of the tragedy of Karbala. That's Sir John, the minister of the government. Who else? The wife of Muawiyah. You know who's the wife of Muawiyah? Maysoon bint Bajdal al-Kilabiyah. Maysoon al-Kilabiyah. Kilabiyah, those that know in Arabia, Ashirat Kilab is a Christian tribe. She was Christian. Full infiltration of the government. The doctor of Muawiyah, Masihi, is Christian. His aide, Christian or Byzantine. They are going to either be Christian, direct Christians for the Byzantines, or they are Muslims but they work for the Byzantines, for the Roman Empire. So the government was raided. And until today, if you go to some museums in Rome and Vatican, it shows you how the dinar looked like during the time of Muawiyah. You know how it looked like? It had a picture of Hirqil, the king of the Byzantines. There is a cross on the golden dinar of the Muslim government. A cross. So there is full infiltration. Almost, they would become Muslims. Almost the Banu Umayyah the government of Banu Umayyah was going to announce Christianity. And some scholars, they say, yes, Muawiyah was Christian, his son was Christian, that entire lineage was Christian. But no, majority scholars, they say the zahir, the apparent, they were Muslims. But they were falling for them. They were falling for the Romans and the Byzantines and Christianity. My dear brothers and sisters, the question is, where is Imam al-Hassan in all of this? Where is Sibtu Rasulullah, Kareemu Ahl al-Bayt, in the light of such events? What is he doing? Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, he comes up with a move that shocks everyone. Shocks everyone. And it acts as the fatal blow, as if he broke their back. What does he do? He initiates a sulh with Muawiyah. What do you mean, Sayyid? What do you mean, sulh with Muawiyah? That destroys all of the work of Banu Umayyah and the Byzantines. Yes. Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, the moment he initiates the sulh, three benefits that I will mention today happen from the sulh of Imam al-Hassan. Number one was Muawiyah becomes Khalifa. What do you mean? Muawiyah becomes Khalifa, that's a benefit? Yes, it's a benefit. When Muawiyah is announced as Khalifa, and Imam al-Hassan accepts him, and the Muslims of Medina, they accept him, what happens? Muawiyah is going to not wage wars against the Muslims of Medina and Imam al-Hassan and the people of Kufa and the Shia. No. Now he closes the door fighting with Muslims, and he's going to focus on battling with the Byzantines. Fighting with the Roman Empire, the true enemies. So he becomes Khalifa against the Byzantines. And right away, that's what happens. The day the sulh happens, he closes the folder with Imam al-Hassan and Ali ibn Abi Talib and the Shia and the Muslims of Medina and Kufa, and he starts tackling the Byzantines. Right away, the Byzantine emperor, he sends him, Tarikh al-Yaqubi, it's mentioned, he sends a letter to Muawiyah, he tells him, no, let's renew our sulh. Let's renew our treaty. The Byzantines and Banu Umayyah. Muawiyah refuses. And the war starts with the Byzantines. So Muawiyah becomes Khalifa. That was the benefits Imam al-Hassan wanted to achieve. Number two, Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam wanted to break the barrier between the Muslims of Sham, Damascus, Levant, and the Muslims of Medina and Kufa. Allow them to come. Allow them to come perform Hajj, Umrah, Ziyarah, see the Prophet grave, see the city of the Prophet. Because Muawiyah, for all those years, 35 years, he had put them in a cage. Basically, he built metaphoric walls. They can't see the people of Medina. They keep on telling them, the people of Medina and Kufa, they want to kill you. They hate on you. They hate you guys. They call you kuffar, rebellious. So Imam al-Hassan wanted to remove that psychological barrier. Because that's what's happening. You know, Abdul Malik ibn Marwan, years later, he was afraid Abdullah ibn Zubayr would feed the people of Sham that go to Hajj with hatred against Banu Umayyah. So what does he do? He closes the door. You cannot go to Medina and Mecca anymore. You cannot go to Kufa anymore. Your Hajj is not to Mecca. Where's your Hajj? Your Hajj is to Jerusalem. That land he owned. That land he was controlling. So your Hajj is to Jerusalem. Imam al-Hassan wanted to break that barrier between the people of Sham and the people of Medina. Third benefit, Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam wanted to corrupt the deceptive propaganda of Banu Umayyah. He wanted to ruin their propaganda. What kind of propaganda Banu Umayyah had? They had a propaganda that Ahl al-Bayt, they are Khawarij. Ali ibn Abi Talib is a Khariji. Ali ibn Abi Talib doesn't pray. A messenger comes on the day Laylat al-Qadr when Amir al-Mu'mineen is striked in the mihrab. He tells the people of Sham, Ali ibn Abi Talib was killed. Where was he killed? In the masjid. Praying Salat al-Fajr, in sujood. They tell him, wait, does Ali ibn Abi Talib even pray? Look at the deceptive propaganda of Banu Umayyah. A man comes to Medina after the sulh was done between Muawiyah and Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. He enters Medina. The first one he sees was Sibtu Rasulullah al-Mujtaba alayhi salam. And he starts cursing Imam al-Hassan. He tells him false words, foul language with Imam al-Hassan. Cursing Imam al-Hassan, cursing Ali ibn Abi Talib, cursing Fatima al-Zahra. You know what Imam al-Hassan does? He waits. He's chill, he's relaxed. After he finishes cursing, he tells him, Khalasat, you finished? Tells him, you look like a stranger. If you were hungry, come to our home, we will feed you. Allahu Akbar. If you need a place to stay at, our homes are widely open for you. All you need to do, come ask and we will give you. We don't close our door to anyone, even to our enemies. He tells him, this is you, Hassan ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib? The worst of God's creation in my heart were you and your father. And today the most beloved are you and your father. And then he goes and he becomes the guest of Imam al-Hassan. Don't we call him Kareemu Ahl al-Bayt? Imam al-Hassan's generosity, his kindness, his forgiveness. This was the reality, the historic analysis behind the truce between Imam al-Hassan and Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Second, and I will quickly go over this, Imam al-Hassan sets the ground for Karbala. He appoints Imam al-Hussein as his successor. Muawiyah does not abide by that condition. He gives it to Yazid. So Imam al-Hussein, when he's fighting Yazid, he's not only fighting a man that is an alcoholic, sharibun lil khamr, qatilun nafs al-muhtarama, kills innocent people left and right, al-la'ibu bil kilabi wal fuhud. He plays with pigs, dogs, and leopards sitting on the mambar of Rasulullah. He's not only fighting this man, standing against this man that is public in his fisq and fujur. No. He is standing for his right. Even the apparent right. Of course, Imam al-Hussein, he's Imam by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, muftarad al-ta'ah. Yes. But even the apparent and the public opinion was saying Khilafah goes to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Why? Because Imam al-Hassan set a condition. Muawiyah has no right to choose and appoint a successor. Successor of Imam al-Hassan is Sibtu Rasulullah al-Hussein al-Shaheed alayhi salam. He appoints him as his successor. So Imam al-Hassan sets the ground and prepares the ground for Karbala. Third, my dear brothers and sisters, Imam al-Hassan's presence on the 10th of Muharram. Where is Imam al-Hassan? On the 9th of Muharram, my dear brothers and sisters, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam brings all of his companions and family. He gathers them, they're sitting in a circle. And he tells them, oh people, leave me, don't stay. They refuse. Zuhair ibn al-Qayn tells him, يا أبا عبد الله لو إني أحيا ثم أحرق ثم أقتل ثم أنشر في الهواء يفعل بي ذلك ألف مرة ما تركتك يا أبا عبد الله. I will never leave you. Even if I were to be killed, burnt, brought to ashes and back to life 1,000,000 times, I will never leave you. Abbas tells him something. Imam al-Hussein, his eyes are on a kid, a young man. He tells him, "O nephew Qasim, كيف ترى الموت? How do you see death? You know we're going to end up killed tomorrow. How do you see death?" He tells him, "والله يا عم في نصرتك أحلى من العسل." Allahu Akbar. Wallah, my uncle, if death comes to me in your defense, then that death to me is sweeter than honey. That death is the death that I want. He gives the taste of death in defense of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. My dear brothers and sisters, on the 10th of Muharram, Imam al-Hussein witnesses the martyrdom of his companions. He goes and he sees their mutilated bodies. And he calls, "Ya Abtal al-Safa wa ya Fursan al-Haider. Mali unadikum fala tujibun." Why is it that I am calling upon you and none of you are answering me? Answer me. Don't you see the Imam of your time is standing alone with no supporter, with no defense? Come to his aid and his support. The hadith says a young man exits the khayma, approaching Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, and he tells him, "O Uncle Hussein, allow me to go and fight in your defense. Allow me to be your Nasir and your Mu'een. Allow me to go and drench myself in my blood in your defense. Allow me to reach the taste, to have the taste of honey of Jannah, Ya Abu Abdullah." Imam al-Hussein hugs him and he's talking to him. Imam al-Hussein tells him, "O Qasim, O son of my brother Hassan, you are the scent of my brother. You give joy to my heart. You are comfort to my soul. You remind me of my brother al-Imam al-Hassan." He tells him, "How can I let you?" He tells him, "Wallah ya Am, the sound, the voice of the kids calling al-Atash, al-Atash is ripping my heart. I cannot bear it. Oh Abu Abdullah, oh my uncle, I cannot take it. Wallah ya Am, laqad daqa sadri. My chest is tight and I cannot take this. لَقَدْ ضَاقَ صَدْرِي وَسَئِمْتُ الْحَيَاةِ. I do not want to live anymore. I want to be shaheed like my cousin Ali al-Akbar. I want to be shaheed like Habib and Burayr and Zuhair. I want to reach the level of shahada in your defense, Ya Abu Abdullah." He goes and he tells him, "But how can I let you? How can I let Ramla, your mother, experience this tragic martyrdom of her son Qasim?" He tells him, "O Uncle Hussein, Wallah ya Am, it is my mother who puts the armor on my chest, and she puts the sword of my father Al-Hassan in my hand, and she puts the amama of my father Al-Hassan on my head, and she said, 'Go to the defense of your master Hussein. Defend your Uncle Hussein. If your father was here, he would defend your Uncle Hussein.'" He goes and he bids his uncle farewell. Imam al-Hussein tells him, "Okay then Qasim, let me hug you. I want to smell the scent of my brother al-Imam al-Hassan." He hugs him one last time, and then Qasim barges into the battle, calling, "In tunkiruni فأنا نجل الحسن سبط النبي المصطفى والمؤتمن." If you do not know me, I'm going to identify myself. I am Qasim, the son of Hassan, the son of Mujtaba, the grandson of Rasulullah al-Mustafa. هذا حسين كالأسير المرتهن. This is Hussein, your master and my master. He is being treated as a prisoner, as a captive. بين أناس لاصقوا صوب المزن. He is being treated by a group of enemy. He's asking for a drop of water and you're not giving him. He enters the battle and he kills 35 individuals from the army of Ibn Ziyad until his sandal, something happens to it. He bends to fix his sandal. And he bends to fix his sandal. Ya mu'mineen, a enemy from his back approaches him and strikes the head of Qasim. أين المنادي وقاسما وشهيدا. Right away he calls Amma, oh Uncle Hussein. Peace be upon you, oh my uncle. I bid you farewell. Imam al-Hussein comes to him to his aid and his rescue. He goes to the person that strikes the head of Qasim. Imam al-Hussein with one strike kills the person who resulted in the death of Qasim. And then he looks at Qasim and he tells him, يَعُزُّ عَلَىٰ عَمِّهِ. It is very painful and difficult for your uncle to see you in this condition. I would like to help you. You call me, how can I answer you? You tell me, aid me, oh my uncle, how can I help you? How can I support you, oh my nephew Qasim? And then Qasim dies in the lap of Abi Abdullah. Imam al-Hussein carries him on his own, and he takes him to the khayma of the ashab, and he lays him down next to Akbar. Sayyida Zainab comes to Imam al-Hussein. She tells him, where is Qasim? Where is the aman of Imam al-Hassan? Where is the trust that Imam al-Hassan left with us? He tells her, go and see Qasim slain next to my son al-Akbar. She goes and she sees Qasim. They say Ramla did not have the news that Qasim was killed at that moment. Sayyida Zainab, her crying and her weeping resulted that Sayyida Ramla, she learns the martyrdom of Qasim. She comes and she sees her son laying down. And she calls him, oh Qasim, I wanted you to live with me. I wanted to marry you. I wanted to see your sons. I wanted to see your wife. I wanted to see your family. But Qasim, it is time that separated us. Oh Qasim, go to your father Al-Hassan and give him our salam. Inna lillah وإنا إليه راجعون وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. For the love of Qasim, raise your hand. اللهم نقسم عليك بأعز الخلق إليك محمد وآل محمد. اللهم ارزقنا في الدنيا زيارة محمد وآل محمد. I need to hear a loud Ameen, brothers and sisters. اللهم ارزقنا في الآخرة شفاعة محمد وآل محمد. اللهم ارزقنا في الدنيا زيارة الحسين. اللهم ارزقنا في الآخرة شفاعة الحسين. السلام على الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. Brothers and sisters, they have requested that this center, alhamdulillah, they have a resident scholar, Samahat Sayyid, and he leads Friday prayer. Tomorrow they will have Friday prayer, and every week they have Friday prayer. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha nudiya lis-salati min yawm al-jumu'ah fas'aw ila dhikrillah. Tomorrow let us all show our love to Rasulullah and to the Quran by showing support in Salat al-Jum'ah. My dear brothers and sisters, let us recite Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha for the souls of the marhumin. نهدي جميعا ثواب الفاتحة مع الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.